guys, it's Alicia. It is that time of year again to do my favorite WW recipes of the year. My husband and I have been doing Weight Watchers now consistently for almost 3 years. We have done Weight Watchers on and off though through the years since 2010. While we have a lot of old recipes that we continue to love and use from the beginning back in 2010, we also like to try out new ones or come up with new ones. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you 4 of our new favorite dinners from 2022. I also did a favorites of 2020 and 2021. I'll go ahead and link those up above and down below if you want to check those out because they have some really good recipes in them as well. Now this time though, I am doing this a little bit differently. In the past videos, I did 2 dinners and 2 desserts. This year I had so many favorites that I decided to just split it up into 2 different videos. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you our favorite dinners of 2022, but be looking out for a favorite desserts of 2022 as well, because I'll have that up shortly after this one. But let's jump in and see what our favorite Weight Watcher dinner recipes of 2022 were. This first one is for chicken pad thai. This was a viewer request. They had sent me a recipe to see if I could lighten it up, make it a little more Weight Watcher friendly, which I love to do. A lot of my recipes, that's where they come from. I will see something and it looks good, and I'll just find ways to lighten it up, make it a little more Weight Watcher friendly, less caloric. And so this one is an example of that, and it turned out really well, and it's one that I make quite a bit now. I love it when you guys send me recipes like this to lighten up because they give me new things to try out, and it's a lot of fun lightening up recipes like this.
The first thing I'm going to do is get my noodles softening up. Now you want to just cook your rice noodles according to the instructions on the package. Now these ones say to pour noodles into a bowl and cover with very hot tap water and then let them soak for 25 to 30 minutes. So what I've got here is just some water I've heated up on the stove, and I'm gonna just take half of my noodles here and just drop those down in there and let them soak until they have softened up. Now you don't want to overcook these like the recipe says, because they are going to get more cooked once you add them to the rest of the dish. But I'm going to just let these soak for probably 20, I'm going to check them at 20 minutes and see how they're doing. While my noodles are softening, I'm going to get my sauce going here. And I'm going to start with a 1/4 cup of the low sodium soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of the Lakanto brown, tablespoon lime juice, 2 tablespoons of the apple cider vinegar or rice vinegar, tablespoon fish sauce, tablespoon of the red curry paste, my peanut butter, half teaspoon ground ginger, and then I'm gonna just whisk this all together really well. All right, I've got this whisked together, so I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside and then work on my next step. Over here on my wok, I've got it on medium heat. I'm gonna add a teaspoon and a half or so of the sesame oil, and then I'm gonna add in my shallots and my red bell pepper, and I'm gonna just get these cooking in here for a couple minutes. I've let those cook in there a couple minutes or so. So now I'm gonna add in my carrots, and I am gonna just add the whole bag, I decided. More veggies, the better, I think. Then I'm gonna add in my minced garlic, about 4 teaspoons or so, or a little more if you're me. And then I'm gonna cook this in here for, it says 1 to 2 minutes, I think. I let those noodles soak probably just about 20 minutes. So I drained them, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a tablespoon of sesame oil to them, and then just toss them in that. And then once they're tossed in that sesame oil, I'm gonna go ahead and just set them aside until I am ready for them. I actually end up letting these cook about 5 minutes, so now I'm gonna turn my heat down a little bit, and I'm gonna add in my egg, and I'm gonna cook that in there for a couple minutes or so. Now that I've let that egg cook in there a couple minutes, I'm gonna add in my chicken, my sauce, and my noodles. And I'm gonna just stir all of this together really well. Now that I've got that pretty well mixed together, I'm gonna add in my bean sprouts, my green onions, peanuts, and cilantro. And then I'm gonna just kind of toss this all in. And this makes quite a bit. It says that it's only 6 servings. This seems like more than 6 servings to me, but I don't know. It's a lot. It smells really good. And here I've got it all mixed together. I'm gonna have to weigh this out or cup it out to find out how much a serving is. Like I said, there's quite a bit in here, so at 6 servings, I'm thinking the servings are gonna be pretty big, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that and then I will be back. All right, I went ahead and weighed this out so I could get as accurate of a measurement as possible. And what I got was 6 14-ounce servings. And the 14 ounces ends up being probably just over 2 cups. So that's what I've got here.
The Weight Watcher points per serving on this are 7 points a serving, and the calories and macros that I'm also going to be including up on the screen for these recipes, I did factor through MyFitnessPal. I will have all of this info, including a little more nutritional info, down in the description box of the individual videos on all these recipes.
Since this is new, I figured I would hop over on the other side of the camera and give this a taste for you guys. So give me a second, I'll put you up on the tripod and I will give this a taste. All right, hopefully you can see this. The benefit of having my hubby do it is that I can zoom in on the food, which I can't really do in this scenario. But anyway, I'm gonna give this a taste. Like I said when I was making it, it smells really good. Yes, that tastes very good too. A lot of different flavors going on in this. It's got not a lot of heat, honestly. I thought there'd be a little more heat from that red chili paste or whatever that is that I used, because that's supposed to be hot, but I'm not picking a lot of heat up. So I would almost recommend using something a little spicier than that stuff. But I can taste it. It's just very base level, but it's got a nice little sweetness from the Lakanto, and I don't know what else is in here that's sweet, but slight little sweetness. I can taste the peanut, the chicken, everything just combined, the onion and all that, the veggies, really nice combo. So take another bite. Just a little one. Yeah, very good. Like I said, I think the only thing that I would change if you like heat is to, I don't know, is sriracha hot? I don't use sriracha, so I don't know. But yeah, maybe just a little bit of heat, but this got really good flavors going on. Like I said, with the sweet and the peanut flavors and the veggies, everything all combined, it's a really nice combination. Plus, like I said, this is a huge portion, really. I don't think it needs to be this big, but 7 points, definitely worth it.
Next up is Pioneer Woman's Best Chicken Breast Recipe. This one is super simple. It comes together really quick, but it is very, very good. I have made this so many times since the first time I tried this recipe out. It is just delicious. And like I said, so very easy. So it's definitely become one of my favorites of this year.
First thing you want to do is get your oven preheating to 375. And then here in a 13 by 9 inch casserole dish, I'm going to spray it a little bit of this cooking spray. And then I'm going to just lay my chicken breasts in here. And now I'm going to go ahead and just set this aside. And then in a medium-sized bowl, I'm going to add in my 1 cup fat-free Greek yogurt, 2 teaspoons granulated garlic, 1 teaspoon seasoned salt, about a half teaspoon fresh ground black pepper, a cup of the shredded Parmesan, and then I'm gonna just mix all of those together real well, like that. Now I'm gonna take my chicken breasts and I'm going to evenly spread my yogurt mixture on the top of them. All right, now I'm gonna bake this at 375 until these reach an internal temp of 165. The recipe says about 25 to 30 minutes, but these are pretty good sized chicken breasts, so I think it's gonna take quite a bit longer than that, but I will be back once those are done. I let these cook for just about 45 minutes and they are registering all at or a little bit above 165. So they are done. So now what the instruction says to do is to turn on your broiler and broil these for a couple minutes to get them a little more browned. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and then I will be back. I just left those in for about 2 minutes because I didn't want to end up overdoing it, which I tend to do when I use my broiler. So I'm gonna let these cool for just a few minutes and then I will go ahead and cut into them. Okay, I've got a serving of this, which is half of a chicken breast.
And the Weight Watcher points on that are 4 points.
This stuff smells so good, I cannot tell you. This just smells really, really good. Here's kind of an inside shot. We'll go ahead and try this and let you know what we think of it. But if it tastes even half as good as it smells, it should be pretty good. Have my husband try it first. Does not smell good.
Mm-hmm. Looks good too.
Yeah. I probably didn't broil it as long as it should have been, but I didn't want to burn it, which I tend to do when I use my broiler. It's a little hot still, huh?
Whoops.
Oops, I didn't mean to zoom in there.
Mm.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
You cut me a little bite and I'll try it too when you get a chance.
So that Parmesan's really popping.
Oh yeah, and I think that's what's really coming out smell-wise is the smell of the cheese. Thank you.
Sorry, I splattered your table. Yeah. The chicken's really moist.
Oh yeah, so the Greek yogurt kind of acts as a tenderizer with meat.
You can tell that's really.
So yeah, the chicken's super tender. It's got that little tang.
I'm getting the garlic aftertaste.
Yep. Tang of.
Nice.
So you can taste the garlic, you can taste the Parmesan, and the little tang mixed with both of those with the Greek yogurt. Oh man, that's good.
Yeah, that was good.
So 4 points for that, which,
Bad, huh?
you know, I don't think that's too bad,
No, it's not
for
bad at all.
especially for how that tastes. But this one was like super, super easy to lighten up too, which is why I knew I wanted to try it. He's going back for more. Well, anyway,
I'll just tell.
I think that definitely was a success. I will be making this again in the future.
Next up is pepperoni pizza monkey bread. I absolutely love the 2-ingredient pizza dough and using it for all different types of things. And this was just another way that I used it this year, and it was absolutely delicious.
So first thing I'm gonna do is get my dough going. So again, that's gonna be 2 cups of self-rising flour and 1.5 cups fat-free Greek yogurt. And then to give the dough a little bit of seasoning, I'm gonna put in a teaspoon of Italian seasoning and a teaspoon of granulated garlic. And now I'm gonna just mix all of this together until it starts to form a dough. All right, my dough's looking good. So now I'm gonna take it and on a lightly floured surface, I'm going to knead it out for about 5 minutes. I've got that all kneaded out, so now I'm gonna cut it in half And I'm going to take each half. I'm gonna roll it out. And I'm just rolling this out until I get it to about 1/8 of an inch thickness. And then I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna just kind of cut it into strips. And then just little individual pieces. Now the recipes that I saw on this use refrigerator biscuits, and basically you just cut those in pieces. So I'm kind of trying to mimic that with my 2-ingredient dough here. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish this up, do the next ball of dough the same way as this, and then I will be back. But first, real quick, before I do that other batch of dough, I'm just using my same bowl here that I made my dough in, and I'm gonna dump all of my little dough pieces in there and try to keep them as separate as you can. I've got all my dough cut up and in my bowl, so now I'm gonna add another teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then finally half of my cheese, so about a cup. And then I'm gonna just mix all that together and try to keep my individual little pieces of bread from sticking too much to each other. And as you can see, they are sticking, so I'm kind of just trying to toss this and not really stir too much, just to get all the little pieces covered, but keep them from sticking too much to each other. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I'm gonna take my bundt pan and I'm gonna spray it with some of this olive oil cooking spray. And my bundt pan is a little on the older side, so it's not as non-stick as it used to be. So I've got a decent amount of cooking spray in there to hopefully keep this from sticking. So now I'm gonna take half of my dough mixture and I'm gonna just lay it on the bottom of my bundt pan. And now I'm gonna take about a half cup of that marinara sauce and just kind of pour it over the top of my dough, followed by half of my remaining cheese. So for my pepperoni, I've got 2 servings here, and I'm gonna take each stack, and then just cut these little pieces into 4ths, roughly. And then half of my pepperoni. And then I'm gonna just repeat those steps with the dough, sauce, cheese, and pepperoni, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've got this all done. Now I'm gonna put it in my preheated oven at 350, and I'm gonna bake it for starting probably around 25-30 minutes, and then I'm gonna kind of see how it's looking. But I'm guessing it's probably gonna take longer than that, but I will be back once this is done. I let this cook just about 45 minutes. It is looking done. So now I'm gonna go ahead and let it cool for a few minutes before I try to take it out of the bundt pan. Probably just 5 or 10. But it smells amazing. All right. I took this, well, I let it sit first off about 10 minutes. I took it out of the bundt pan. It got a little bit stuck in there. Not super bad, but you know, bad enough. But then after I took it out, I flipped it back over so the top side is showing. I pulled it apart a little bit and put in this little, what is that called?
Ramekin.
Ramekin, thank you. With another half cup of that marinara sauce in there. So this I have figured in at 8 servings, so 1/8 of this total.
8 WW points per serving.
So we're gonna go ahead and give this a try, see what it tastes like. It smells delicious. So hopefully it tastes delicious too. You wanna go first? Good? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna try it too.
Well, that is really, yeah, that's really good. Super cheesy. You know, it's got a good seasoning on there. That one's a little hard. That one's fighting me. That one won't be getting dipped, I can tell you.
Yeah, it's very good. It tastes...
And what fun!
Yeah, it is fun. That's kind of why I wanted to make it. I thought, well, that just sounds like a fun... We love monkey bread, like regular monkey bread. So, I knew I wanted to try this, but that's really good. What do you think point-wise? 8 points for a eighth of it.
I think that's worth it.
Yeah.
You know, if you plow through the whole thing, that's, what, 64 points? That might be a little excessive.
That'd be a whoops, but, oh man, I got a piece of pepperoni on that one.
But it's like I said about the breadsticks. Why would you ever go to a restaurant or order something from a pizza place when you can make this? It's not good.
Sorry, I'm chewing, but I agree. Totally, that's very, very good. I think that totally hits the spot for like pepperoni pizza, breadsticks. It's kind of like a combo. Yeah, it's a, I would call this an appetizer, but it's kind of like a combo breadstick.
Yeah.
Or cheese stick pizza.
I mean, it's kind of, you know, the thing I've talked about this before, you don't get a lot of appetizers type things necessarily with Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's fun.
Our last favorite WW dinner recipe of the year was for copycat chicken enchilada soup. I was asked to see if I could do a copycat of this Chili's chicken enchilada soup and lighten it up, make it more Weight Watcher friendly, and so that is what I did. And this one I'm adding in as my favorite this year because it really kind of took me by surprise. When I first saw this, I didn't necessarily think that it was something that I was going to really like. It looked good, but I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I ended up liking it. I ended up really, really liking this one. And so again, this is why it's in here, and this is also why I love it when you guys request stuff because, again, it gets me to try things I might not necessarily actually try, like this one.
The first thing I'm going to do is get all my stuff chopped up that needs to be chopped up. So I'm going to start with this onion. And I think I said I was only going to use half of this. I'm going to just go ahead and use the whole thing. We love onion in this house, or at least I do. Well, my husband likes it too. So I'm going to just add this whole thing in there because I don't typically use white onions. So I don't want it to go to waste. So I'm going to chop that up. And then I'm also going to chop up my chicken breast. And I'm going to be chopping my half box of this Velveeta into cubes. So I'm gonna do all that and then I will be back. Now that I've got all my stuff chopped up and ready to go, I'm gonna start with a large pot here that I've got on medium heat. I'm gonna add in first my onion and I'm gonna get that cooking in there. Now I am using a non-stick pan here. If you don't have a non-stick, I would recommend using a little bit of olive oil so that these don't stick, but they're gonna create their own moisture and they're not gonna stick in there like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and let those soften up a little bit for a few minutes in there. Let those onions cook in there about 2-3 minutes. And I'm gonna add in some garlic, about a teaspoon, maybe a little more. And I'm gonna let that cook in there for about a minute. All right, I let that garlic cook in there about a minute. So now I'm gonna add in my chicken broth. That a stir. And then over here I've got a bowl. I'm gonna add in my 2 cups of water. I forgot 1 cup is gonna be reserved for adding in here, but 2 cups in here. And then I'm gonna add in a cup of this masa harina, and sorry if I am killing the pronunciation of that, I probably am. So add a cup of that in. And then I'm gonna just whisk the 2 of these together until they are well combined. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna pour it into my pot here. And then I'm gonna whisk that in really well. Now I'm gonna add in that remaining cup of water, my enchilada sauce, the Velveeta that I've cut up into cubes, splash it everywhere. I'm gonna add in my seasonings, which is a half teaspoon cumin, and a teaspoon chili powder. Give that a good stir. And again, if you want to add salt to this, you can. I'm choosing not to. I'll add it later if I think I need to, but I'm guessing I probably won't. I'm gonna stir this really well. And on medium-high heat, I'm gonna let this mixture come to a boil. I also wanted to mention, as I'm bringing this up to a boil, I am stirring it occasionally because it is taking a little bit of time to reach that point, and I don't want it burning on the bottom of the pan. This is just coming to a boil now, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add in my chicken breast. And I weighed this out. It's just at 1.5 pounds, the 3 that I used. So now I'm gonna turn down my heat to low. I'm gonna stir my chicken in, and I'm gonna let this simmer. It says 30 to 40 minutes. And you wanna keep stirring occasionally, again, to keep that from kind of scorching or burning on the bottom. But while this is simmering, I'm gonna go ahead and work on my pico de gallo and my tortilla strips. For the pico de gallo, I'm gonna be first chopping up these 2 small tomatoes. It's calling for 1 medium, but I'm gonna just be using the 2 small. So I'll get these chopped up. And then I'm gonna chop some of this onion up. It's calling for a heaping tablespoon of minced red onions. I'm gonna get that. Add that in. Next, this is a handful of cilantro, which I've got here roughly, and I'm gonna go ahead and just chop that up roughly. And add that in. Tablespoon lime juice, and then salt and pepper to taste. I'm gonna just stir this all together, taste it, make sure it's got enough salt and pepper in it, and then I'm gonna set that aside and work on my tortillas. So as I said before, I'm gonna be making my tortilla chips or strips in the air fryer, and I'm gonna be doing them just the same way that I do my chips with corn tortillas or flour tortillas. And that is to just simply spritz them with a little bit of olive oil spray, sprinkle with a little bit of salt, and then repeat that on the opposite side. And then I just stack them and I cut them. I'm gonna just cut them in half, and then like this to get little strips. Now I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna put them in my air fryer. I let these cook just about 5 minutes on 400. They're looking done, so I'm gonna go ahead and dump them onto a plate to cool. And I just let these cool about 5 minutes or so, and they will crisp up a little bit more once they've been sitting there and cool down. All right, I let this cook, simmer in here for 30 minutes. And if you can see there's little darker parts where it was starting to scorch. I didn't stir this enough apparently. So definitely stir it a lot while it's simmering to avoid that. But this is looking done, so I'm gonna go ahead and measure this out and see what a serving would be. All right, I measured all that out and I got just about 13 cups. And so I'm gonna factor it in at 12 heaping cup servings. And I also did factor in the tortilla chips too, or the 3 tortillas. So all combined
is going to be 5 Weight Watcher points per serving.
I'll go ahead and give this a taste. Since it is a new recipe, my husband is not here at the moment. He will be here later, so I might be able to get him to taste it too. But since he's not here now and this is hot now, I'm gonna go ahead and put you on the tripod, hop on the other side of the camera here, and give this a taste and let you know what I think about it. So hold on just a second here. All right, hopefully you can see both me and the food. Well, at least the food. That's the most important. Give this a taste. And get a little of the pico with it. That's pretty good. So it's not super spicy, which I didn't expect it to be with what's in it, but it's got a little bit of a spice to it, which is nice. It's really creamy, which with the Velveeta, I kind of expected it to be, but really creamy. Nice little bit of spice. I like the chicken. I can taste the chicken in there really well. As far as the pico goes, I was wondering if you really needed that. Tasting it with that, I think it does add a lot to this. I haven't tried it with the tortilla chip. Let me try that. What was my air fryer, in case you're wondering? Shutting itself off. It's really good with the tortilla chips too. So I would definitely recommend both of those in this. But the soup alone is really good too. Like I said, it's really creamy. I don't know if you can see that in the camera very well. Probably not, but very creamy. Really good. I definitely like that. I was worried that I wouldn't like this because honestly, it didn't necessarily sound like my kind of a soup. And so I figured if I didn't like it, I would do something else with the other half of that Velveeta that I've got left. If nothing else, just do the Velveeta and Rotel dip out of it. But I really do like that. And with the fall weather right now, I think this is a really nice soup for this time of year. So I'll most likely be doing another batch of this up with my remaining Velveeta because, yeah, I think that's pretty good. So thank you to Molly for requesting this. I probably never would have made it, honestly, if you didn't request it. Because again, not necessarily the type of recipe that I would gravitate towards. So that's why I love it when you guys do send me recipes, because it gives me, or it gets me, I should say, to try out things that I wouldn't necessarily try out on my own, like this particular soup, and find new things that I really do like. Because this, like I said, this is really good. It's better than I expected it to be. But if you guys try this, let me know. I'd love to see what you think of it, especially those of you who have actually had the Chili's version of it. I'd love to know if you think this is close to that.
And that brings us to the end of our favorite Weight Watcher recipes of 2022. The dinner version anyway. Like I said, I will be having a dessert version of this out soon, so be looking out for that if you want to see that. And as I said earlier, I will be linking the 2020 and 2021 videos that I've done previously that you can also check out. But be sure to check down in the description box of this video to find links to the full videos on all of these recipes, where you will find all the information as far as a full list of ingredients, instructions, calories, macros, all that good stuff, and recipe builder links as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you on the next one.